Good evening. Today is December the 15th, 2020. The time is 6:30. We'd like to begin our City Council meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. If you'd please join us. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd ask our city clerk to do roll call.
All right. Harrington?
Here.
McKinney, absent. O'Doherty?
Here.
Pierce?
Here.
Schuster?
Here.
Stalder?
Here.
Weaver? Is connecting. Paul Weaver? Are you here?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I am. Here.
All right. Gabriel?
Here.
And Shumway.
Here.
That is 8 present, 1 absent, Your Honor.
All right, we have a quorum. We'd like to begin our agenda for tonight with the public comment period on non-agenda items. Each individual that speaks will have 3 minutes. So if there's anyone that would like to speak during the public comment period, please unmute and we will start the timer. To unmute, you hit *6.
Not seeing any.
I don't, okay, seeing no one, we'll close this public comment period and begin our regular agenda with our Vice Mayor taking us through changes to the agenda and setting the agenda.
Thank you, Mayor. I would move that the following changes to the agenda be approved. To add item 9I, scheduled meetings, a December 22nd, 2020, 6 p.m. work session, retreat planning on consent agenda, and add an executive session on litigation, Wyoming Statute 16-4-405, small a, triple Roman numeral 3 to item number 20.
Is there a second?
I'll second that, Mr. Mayor.
Councilor Harrington has seconded that. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any
Aye.
opposed?
Aye.
I don't believe I heard anyone opposed, so Vice Mayor?
Mayor, I would move that the agenda be set as changed.
Second. It's been moved and seconded by Councilor Schuster. All in favor of having the agenda set indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so we have an agenda, and we'd like to begin now with a public hearing. If the city clerk would read the notice of the public hearing, please.
Notice is hereby given that the City of Laramie, Wyoming, pursuant of Wyoming Statute Section 15-1-112B, hereby gives notice of a proposed sale of public property described as Parcel 1, Block 1, revised Turner Track addition to Encore Partners, LLC, without calling for bids, as City Council has determined that the sale will benefit the economic development of the municipality. The property being sold is part of a larger parcel that with an appraised value of $3.50 per square foot. The property being sold is 3.14 acres with an appraised value, therefore, of $478,724. The proposed sale is for $430,851.96. A public hearing on the proposed sale will be held by the City Council in City Council chambers at 406 Ivinson Avenue, Laramie, at 6:30 p.m. on December 15th, 2020. The public is invited to offer comments on the proposed sale. All information relative to this matter is available for review at the City of Laramie City Clerk's office at 406 Iverson Avenue, Laramie, Wyoming. Anyone wishing to be heard should be present or may be represented by his or her agent at the meeting.
Thank you. So we invite anyone that would like to speak for or against this proposal for the land sale to comment, so you're welcome to make comment at this time. I do not see any, so we'll close this public hearing.
Mayor?
Yes,
Mr. Mayor, it looks like a gentleman named Don Gorsuch is trying to unmute.
okay, Mr.
Thank
Gorsuch?
you. Yes, thank you.
Before
I
you-
represent Encore Partners, and we did send in a PowerPoint, so I just want to make sure at some point we'll have a chance to present that information.
Yes, Mr. Gorsuch, we're going to have that on the regular agenda. This is for
Okay.
public comment, so we will give you that opportunity when we go to the item on the regular agenda.
Thank you.
And welcome, we're glad you're here to represent Encore Partners. Anyone from the public that would like to make a comment? All right, we will close the public hearing. And the next item that we have on our agenda is announcements. I believe we have some announcements.
I do, Mayor. We have two. We'll start with the Recreation Division with Todd Fieser making that announcement.
Honorable Mayor, City Council, a few things going on at the rec center this weekend, but most notably is on the 20th, which is Sunday, from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. is a socially distanced Santa event where you can drive through and get your picture taken with Santa at the appropriate distance and under perfect safety precautions. So if anybody wants to come out, that's Sunday from 1 to 3 for the socially distanced Santa event. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. The second announcement is from the clerk's office.
Mayor and council, just a reminder that we have a tavern owners meeting coming up December 17th, which is this Thursday from 10 to 11, and it's all on Zoom with all the designees or owners from the liquor license establishments.
Good, thank you. That's the two announcements that we had.
Correct. Thank you.
Also, staff recognition is who's going to be doing.
Thanks, Mayor. I'll take care of that. We're excited tonight to have Billy Yarich on the phone with us. Billy is a municipal court clerk in the municipal court here in City Hall. Billy's been with the city for about 2 years now, and he was nominated by the city attorney's office, notably the legal assistant and the prosecuting attorney downstairs who interact with him on a regular, if not daily, basis. He was nominated to be the Employee of the Month or our Rock Star of the Month because they appreciate how he tries really hard to keep things lighthearted and as enjoyable as possible. His coworkers said that given all of the changes that have had to be made to keep the municipal court functioning throughout the pandemic, that Billy's proven to be really adaptive and creative with coming up with solutions. And of course, we see some of those solutions and those changes here in the chambers tonight, where we have all of the social distancing mechanisms in place, and these not only support council, but the court as well. We're happy to have Billy with us. He's originally from Du Bois, Wyoming. He has a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. He is a big foodie, as are so many of us. And this year he was really happy to make one of the bigger ventures in his life as purchasing a home for him and his rescue tabby kitten, Little Walter, who is actually a girl kitten. His family still lives in Du Bois, and we're really happy to have him here in Laramie with us and with the city of Laramie. So he's on the Zoom call, and Billy, thank you so much for everything you do for the city and for the residents of Laramie.
Yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate it so much. It's a great honor working for the city. So,
Short and sweet, thank you.
you know, that's how I work.
Well, we appreciate you. We appreciate your contribution to the city, and obviously you have many fans, not only in the city staff, but throughout the community. Thank you again for what you've contributed.
Thank you.
Are there any disclosures by anyone on the city council with anything that they have a conflict of interest with on the consent or regular agenda? Seeing none, I'll go back to the vice mayor for the approval of the consent agenda.
Thank you, Mayor. I would move that the consent agenda be approved, that each specific action on the consent agenda be approved as indicated.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded by Councilor Schuster. Ask the city clerk to do roll call on the consent agenda.
Harrington,
Yes.
McKinney, absent. O'Doherty,
Yes.
Pierce,
Yes.
Schuster,
Yes.
Stalder,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Gabriel,
Yes.
and Shumway.
Yes.
That is 8 yeses, 0 noes, 1 absent, Your Honor.
Thank you. The consent agenda has been approved. Now we move to the regular agenda. The first item on the regular agenda is item number 11. Councilor Schuster.
Thank you. The title is Award of Bid for the Municipal Operations Center North Campus Project. I move to award the bid for the Municipal Operations Center North Campus Project to G.H. Phillips, Wyoming LLC of Laramie, Wyoming, in the amount of $14,444,000 with a contingency of $722,000 for a total amount of $15,162,000, and authorize the mayor and city clerk to sign the contract.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded by Councilor Pierce. To introduce this is Brooks Webb.
Honorable Mayor, City Council, this has been a long time project in the works. I'll tell you, it was 9 years ago today was the first day I ever stepped foot in Wyoming. And on that day, I met with Rich Elliott, who is the current Public Works Director, for a job interview. And we talked about this project. When it really got traction was in 2014. City Council adopted goals to plan the construction and financing of the project. Later that year in 2014, Council adopted a budget for the project. In November 2014, Council approved a CMAR contract. That contract included site selection for the project, as well as preliminary design and building programming. Oh, thank you. In January 2015, staff and the CMAR conducted a work session regarding site selection. 17 different sites from around the community were presented to council. After that work session was over, it was whittled down to 3 sites to move forward with and analyze further. By the end of 2016, council had decided that the Wyotech facility out north of town was the right site, and authorized the purchase of that facility for the project. After a purchase of the property, design for the repurposing of the building began and continued through 2018. The project was placed out to bid by the CMAR in December 2019. As you know, the CMAR became unresponsive and we terminated that contract in February of this year. In June 2020, Council authorized the revised scope for the project. If you recall, we were here and talked about removing some of the older buildings, building a new administrative building, putting in place a large garage for trucks, so that we could get those inside, the big vac trucks, solid waste trucks, things like that. That design was awarded and then completed in October. We put the bidding documents together. The project went out to bid. Bids were received and opened on November 10th, 2020. As you can see on your council sheet, we received 5 very competitive bids. The top 3 bidders there were super close. We reviewed all the bids with our architect, Plan 1, and we are recommending GH Phipps of Wyoming for the contract award. We're also recommending to accept bid alternative 2 for the solar panels on Building V. That's an additional $79,000 to the project, but is included in the 1444 that was in the motion. With that, if you have any questions, I'd be happy to take them. I also have William Wheatley with Plan 1 Architects on the phone if we need him for anything.
Questions for our Public Works Director, Brooks Webb? Before I don't see any hands, but let me just say this. This is a huge, huge project for the city of Laramie. It's one that we have all been working on for years. So obviously, a lot of the details we're familiar with, but it's a huge expense. It's a huge step forward, and I'm a fan. I'm excited about what this will do for the community, for the operations, and for all that we do. But let's direct questions to Brooks Webb that you have regarding this. Do I see hands? Okay, we're going to go to the public. Is there anyone in the public that has any questions or comments regarding this Municipal Operations Center North Campus project, the bid award that was just explained being proposed to go to Phipps of Wyoming? Comments from council. Councilor
Mr.
Schuster,
Mayor.
and then we'll go to Councilor Weaver.
Thank you. I'm very happy to see this go to a Wyoming company. It'll be a shot in the arm also for Laramie with having workers here in town, buying product, doing some business here in town. So very excited to see it happen. Anytime we have a big project like that, we get some revenue from it too. So thank you.
Councilor Weaver?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It was a little startling for me to hear about the length of time that's been spent on this project, but Mr. Webb did a good job of recapping and giving us some context here, and as did the mayor. It's been a lengthy process that's involved a lot of different pieces and a lot of discussions and careful consideration. And it might seem like a million years ago, but those of us that either first joined or rejoined the council for this council starting in 2019, you might remember, and in late 2018, you might remember the process of taking a look at the property that will no longer be the Public Works Center too, which in my mind is always something that should be closely matched with the progress that the new Municipal Operations Center takes. I mean, it's both a new project and then also a second new project that the city is going to be able to start on, and I think both of them are positives and they're exciting. And I appreciate Councilor Schuster's comments about the bid for this project that was successful. I think that's great too. I think he's absolutely right with those comments. And this is a big deal. it's a large dollar project, and it's going to be very important for our community in several different ways. And it's great to see this this part of it moving forward. In some ways, that 9 years seems like a long time, and in other ways, it seems like it wasn't that long ago. We were trying to figure out where we were going to put the operations center. It's strange. Anyway, thanks for the opportunity to make a couple of comments, Mr. Mayor. I do appreciate it.
Thank you. Anyone else? Comments? Okay, City Clerk, could we have roll call?
O'Doherty,
Yes.
Pierce,
Yes.
Harrington,
Yes.
Stalder,
Yes.
McKinney,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Schuster,
Yes.
Gabriel,
Yes.
and Shumway.
Yes.
That is 9 yeses and 0 no, Your Honor.
All right. Another item on this Municipal Operations Center, the North Campus Project, Councilor Schuster, item number 12.
Thank you. The title is the Amendment to the Professional Service Agreement for the Construction Services on the Municipal Operations Center North Campus Project. I move to approve the amendment to the Municipal Operations Center North Campus Professional Service Agreement with Plan 1 Architects to conduct construction administration services for the amount of $378,145 and a contingency of $69,977 for a total amount of $448,122 and authorize the mayor and city clerk to sign.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded by Vice Mayor Gabriel. Mr. Webb.
Honorable Mayor, City Council, like many of the projects we do, after the bids award, we move right into our construction administration services. This is for Plan 1 Architects. They have been with us throughout the project, have completed all the design on the project, and are extremely familiar with the project. And so we're recommending to approve this amendment for construction administration services.
Any questions from the council? Questions from the public or comments from the public? Comments from the council? City Clerk, would you do roll call?
Schuster,
Yes.
Weaver,
Councilor Weaver?
Yeah, that was a yes. I'm sorry.
McKinney,
Yes.
Harrington,
Yes.
Pierce,
Yes.
Stalder,
Yes.
O'Doherty,
Yes.
Gabriel,
Yes.
Shumway.
Yes.
That is 9 yeses, 0 no's.
All right. Item number 13, Vice Mayor Gabriel.
Thank you, Mayor. This is an award of a bid for a refuge truck with an automated dual-arm body and trade-in, Unit 676. I would move to award the bid for one refuge truck with automated dual-arm refuge body and trade-in, Unit 676, to Peterbilt of Wyoming, Cheyenne, Wyoming. Total amount of $352,309, and authorize the mayor and city clerk to sign.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Mr. Webb?
Honorable Mayor,
You're
City.
spending lots of money.
I know, it's a rough night for us. Honorable Mayor, City Council. This truck is the typical truck you see come down your street and pick up your trash and recycling on a weekly basis. we're basically replacing an existing truck and fleet. The existing truck is a 2010 model, so it's 10 years old. It has over 10,000 hours on it, and it's time for replacement. We went out to bid and opened those bids on November 17th. We only received one bid from Peterbilt of Wyoming, but it was in line with what we expected and within budget, and so we are recommending award.
Okay, questions? Counselor Weaver, is your hand up? No. Looks,
He's got a foam finger?
got a-
Yes, your thumb finger.
Anyone has questions for
Looks like O'Doherty.
Counselor O'Doherty? And then, I think,
Yeah.
Counselor Weaver, did your hand go up? No. Okay, Counselor O'Doherty.
Only to further confuse you, Mayor. I'm sorry.
All right.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor, through you to ask, the dual arm, does that allow you to pick up bins from either side when you go down an alley so the truck doesn't have to go down one direction and then come back the other direction? I've noticed a lot of alleys have cans on both sides. Thank you.
Yeah, Counselor Doherty, through you, Mayor, that's exactly right. When we go down alleys, we can pick up on both sides, going one time through the alley, picking up on both sides.
Thank you.
Other questions? Vice Mayor Gabriel?
Thank you, Mayor. I was just curious, Brooks, what happens to the old truck?
Yeah, Counselor Gabriel, through you, Mayor. The old truck, they've offered a trade-in of $30,000 for that old truck. And so that they will take, when they deliver the new truck, they'll take ownership of that truck. So the bid price, their base bid price was $378,789. We deduct the $30,000, we're awarding for $348,759.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any questions or comments from the public? Comments from the council before we vote? All right, let's go ahead and vote.
McKinney? Yes. O'Doherty?
Yes.
Stalder?
Yes.
Weaver?
Yes.
Harrington?
Yes.
Pierce?
Yes.
Schuster?
Yes.
Gabriel?
Yes.
And Shumway.
Yes.
That's 9 yeses, 0 no, Your Honor.
All right. Item 14, Counselor Pierce.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to accept the grant award from the Wyoming Office of Homeland Security in the amount of $105,000 to the City of Laramie Fire Department Regional Emergency Response Team Number 3, and authorize the fire chief, mayor, city clerk, and city attorney to sign and amend the 2020-2021 fiscal year City of Laramie budget.
Second.
Been moved and seconded by Counselor Schuster. Chief Johnson.
Honorable Mayor, members of council, what you have before you tonight is the 2020 grant award through the Wyoming Office of Homeland Security to help sustain our regional emergency response team. The state has 8 teams spread across the state. Laramie is one of the original teams, and it's team number 3. We use the monies we receive from the state of Wyoming for exercises, training, and equipment. There is no match on this grant. It's their best effort to sustain our obligation through that agreement. So stand for any questions.
Questions from the council? Questions from the public? Comments from the council? Do we have a vote?
Schuster,
Yes.
O'Doherty,
Yes.
McKinney,
Yes.
Pierce,
Yes.
Harrington,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Stalder,
Yes.
Gabriel,
Yes.
and Shumway.
Yes.
There's 9 yeses, 0 nos.
All right, the next item we have is item number 15, Counselor Harrington.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move to find the sale to the Encore Partners LLC benefits the economic development of the city and to approve the contract for sale and purchase of real property between the city and the Encore Partners LLC and authorize the mayor and clerk to sign.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded by Counselor O'Doherty. Todd Feaser, our Assistant City Manager, is here to introduce this item.
Honorable Mayor, City Council, Todd Feaser, Assistant City Manager. What you have before you is the potential sale of the land between the Rec Center and the Laramie High School on Boulder Drive. We were approached by Encore Partners LLC for the project that would include 14 independent living apartments, 28 assisted living apartments, and 14 secure memory care apartments. Encore will explain in their presentation that they'll do later today, and I do have two folks on from Encore. I've got Don Gorsuch and Gennaro DeSantis that will provide a presentation following my section here. In addition to the increased residential units, this project would produce a little bit over $1 million in annual wages to the community. It will also impact third-party vendors through various operations like landscaping, snow removal, housekeeping, home health services, and also provide an annual estimated personal property tax of $42,500 within the community. The contract, with approved, is an option to purchase for $430,851.96. There's an earnest money deposit that would come in. There are contingencies that include due diligence periods, inspection, investigation, financing, and title appraisals that allow for outs if it's not successful. The appraisal on this property was for $3.50 a square foot. The purchase price is for $3.15 a square foot, about a 35-cent per square foot discount, or $48,000. I'd like to hint on a couple of the places where this meets some of the current City of Laramie plans. It supports the Housing Study 2030 in various ways. The future population in Laramie is expected to grow in two major groups. That's the 20 to 34 and 55 to 64 age group. This is a 55 and over installation if approved. Senior 55 Housing Study, a continuum of care for elderly persons. Household survey is a priority in that study, so that it meets that. Retirement and elderly housing is one of the most needed housing types in Laramie and is something that's also supported in the Housing 2030 study. The 2030 study outlined various steps to correct this, and we hinted on some of those steps include, get to it. We need to add 256 owner units and 294 rental units by 2030, and this is a small step in that direction. We also need to be involved in encouraging those agencies to come to town, which we're trying to do through the economic development process. This project, if approved, partially supports the Turner Tract Area Plan through maintaining open space and greenways. It also promotes pathways for linking to various land uses. Some of these folks also may be employed in the area, so it would be that live-work community that the Turner Tract was designed to be. That is the one place where we do have some discrepancy is the land use plan. This area was originally identified as Parks and Recreation space. That was before the outcome of the South Laramie Drainage Study, which converted about 10 acres of the 13-acre parcel into a detention pond. That detention pond is still identified to become recreational use in the form of a bike park. Planning and work with the Laramie Bike Net is underway on that, and we have had some planning process that have been brought to you in a work session earlier this year. The project, if approved, supports the Thrive Laramie community. Increased regional collaboration for business retention, attraction, and better paying jobs in this community are very important. Strengthens connections between the educational training providers and state and regional employers through providing some of those folks in the UW nursing program a place to get employed and hopefully stay in Laramie as we move forward. The sale of this land is viable under Wyoming State Statute 15.1.112. Any city or town upon terms the governing body therefore determines without advertising the sale or calling for bids, and after a public hearing, notice of which shall include the appraised value of the real properties involved and notice of proposed terms of any contract with an independent agency pursuant to paragraph 3 of this subsection, and is published at least once each week for 3 consecutive weeks in a newspaper of general circulation. Due to the mistake we had in the appraisal, we've actually advertised this for 6 weeks. And any person acquiring the property for use which the governing body determines will benefit the economic development of the municipality can fall under this. So from an economic development standpoint, we create jobs, we put the property into good use, and we provide economic incentive in third-party or second-party vendors, which is very important in this community. With that being said, I'll turn it over to Don Gorsuch, I believe, for presentations from Encore Partners, and Nancy, you'll drive the presentation for them, won't you?
Welcome, Mr. Gorsuch.
Good evening, everyone. So we have a PowerPoint. So that should be coming up here in a moment.
I think we're there.
Okay.
What, just a minute, Mr. Gorsuch.
My apologies, Mayor. We're just pulling that up here.
Okay. Nancy, do you want to take a break to do this?
Absolutely, Mayor. If that's okay with you, just a couple minutes would be fantastic.
Do that. We're going to take a 5-minute break, and when we come back, we'll start with the presentation. So, Mr. Gorsuch, if you'd just give us a moment, we'll have you and Gennaro come back and do this presentation for us. So, 5 minutes,
Thank you.
We'll take a break.
Thank you.
we're back in session. Got the PowerPoint ready to go, so as soon as that shows up on the screen, go ahead.
Mayor, I'm not sure if they could hear you. Your microphone was.
Mr. Gorsuch, go ahead. We're ready with the presentation. Is he muted?
We are, sorry.
Okay. Mr. Gorsuch, go ahead.
Well, thank you. On behalf of Encore Partners, let me thank all of you for your time this evening as we discuss the potential for an Encore Place in Laramie. As the gentleman mentioned, earlier on one of the other projects, we've been working on this community for a few years and have continued to think of Laramie as a community we've wanted to service and be a part of for a while. So as an introduction, we want to talk about what we're actually going to do because we do understand that economic development and creating value for the community is very important. We take a very hands-on approach to all the communities we work within. We're in Rock Springs and Casper right now. We've been there since 2012. So a lot of what you're going to hear is going to be a reflection of what we're actually doing in Wyoming now. I'm sitting in Denver, Colorado, but I have a lot of connections. I have a nephew that actually lives in Laramie and several family members up in that region in Wheatland and Cheyenne and throughout that area. So this community is going to be a new prototype for us. As Todd mentioned, we are going to bring 56 apartments, 14 independent living, 28 assisted living, and 14 memory care to the community. This is a private pay community, so we do not take any government funds for reimbursement. We will staff this with approximately 42 employees. The number you're seeing there, the 1,106,000, is direct salary. That basically ranges from $13.50 to $38.50 an hour, depending upon credentialing. It does not include the load on top of that, which is approximately 37%. We expect 23 full-time employees. We may be a little higher than that, but we provide health insurance and we do a 4% match. We're very focused on the benefits for our team, and I think we have a generous benefit program. Our annual budget, based upon the 56 apartments, is approximately $2.4 million, and this is in 2020 dollars. So it'll be another year out when we actually look at that. The building is large. It's 48,000 square feet, almost 49,000 square feet. And the way we build our buildings is each community has its own sense of neighborhood. So there will be 3 neighborhoods in this building. Memory care, which is a secure unit. There will be 14 apartments in that area, and that will be overseen by an RN. And we will have CNAs. Our staffing is 1-to-7 ratio. We have 2 communities that will require a level 2 license in Wyoming, and we have done well with that in both Casper and Rock Springs. Our assisted living community is 28 apartments. One of the things we really enjoy doing is 14 of our apartments have have patios in the courtyard, and we will be doing that and actually expanding. We are planning on most of our assisted living apartments having patios so that people can gain access to the outside from their assisted living apartment. They're all 1 bedroom or from a small 1 bedroom to a large 1 bedroom, and there is a 1 bedroom den style. Then the independent living apartment, I'm very excited about it. That 14 apartment area is going to have full service apartments. They'll have full kitchens, washer and dryer in the apartment. They will all have a patio. There is a large community space that we're excited about, and we will have garage spaces available for those people. Those will really be age restricted but independent living targeted apartments. One of the exciting things for us is that directly across our entrance, and we plan the building this way, is a connection point to the rec center and to the new walk paths. So we're quite excited about that. Next slide, please. So who is the Encore Partners? My business partners and I, Ron Vaughn and Kevin Graff and I started this company in 2009. And we had a dream of building communities throughout the Rocky Mountain West. So that means really Colorado, Wyoming, and perhaps Utah, perhaps South Dakota. And we continued that dream. I lost Ron 3 years ago. Kevin moved on to work for a REIT, and I bought out the company. Since that time, Gennaro DeSantis, who is a seasoned developer in his own right with 15 years experience, and also the attorney for Encore Partners, joined us. We had the good fortune of hiring Jeff Smith as our regional, and he is executive director of Deer Trail Assisted Living in Rock Springs. Canine Humphrey in Casper. She has been executive director there for 4 years. All of these team members come with different credentialings. Our communities have a sense of belonging that's amazing. Jeff and team are very focused on basically just being part of Rock Springs. Canine loves training people in dementia care, and she goes throughout the state doing that and is one of the highest credentialed dementia experts in the state of Wyoming. We're very proud of them. And then we have 99 team members in Rock Springs, Casper, and here in Denver. We have people who specialize in everything from being an RN, a wellness director, to people who love to cook. We have amazing housekeeping staff that have been with us for years. I am pleased to say that we have CNAs and bus drivers who've been promoted. We believe in building people into their credentials. Encore Living Group is the management company, and our goal is to build into mid-market value, which means that we are private pay, but we try very hard to do high value. And you will find that we are in kind of the average pricing range for most assisted living and memory care. We take a strong community approach in the local markets, and you will find that we will be working with you. If the property is sold to us, we'll be working with you to create a very nice community that belongs to the people of Laramie. And we have a lot of fun doing that, and we make a lot of connections into the community. Next slide. So we want to talk just briefly about assisted living. My assumption is that you are familiar with it, but assisted living really is independent living with some support services and a little bit of help when you need it. We believe in a social market and a life enrichment program that really honors people and gives them something to do that's interesting every day. So we have two amazing life enrichment directors, Connie Cudney and Nova, I'm going to forget Nova's last name, I should have written it down, in Rock Spring, or excuse me, in Casper. Amazing people. They are dedicated, fun, and we'll see a couple pictures here in a while that would just show you how much they love what they do. And we always find that cultural enrichment piece so important. Next slide, please. Memory care is similar to assisted living, except it is in a secure environment. People need support services. There is a level 2 license, which means that we do extensive training in memory care and dementia. And we work very closely with more of an individual approach to life enrichment and creating moments of joy. I'm proud to say that Canine is licensed as a TIPA Snow educator. We work with Jolene Brackey, who creates moments of joy. And we have worked with different groups to really create what we call a contented neighborhood. We have numerous volunteers that work with our memory care residents, and I'm pleased to say many multi-generational experiences have occurred, and I just feel like we are blessed because people have been so engaging with our memory care residents. Next slide, please. Thank you. This is a picture of the entry into Deer Trail Assisted Living. Deer Trail opened in February of 2012. We were the first newly constructed level 2 licensed memory care license in Wyoming. I know that Casper, we had Meadowinds came right behind us, but we were purpose-built, so we were the first purpose-built. And our two buildings are identical. We like prototypical design, so these buildings are 57 apartments, 2 neighborhoods, 44 assisted living, and 13 memory care. We located this building adjacent to the Young at Heart Recreation Center and Senior Center in Rock Springs. We have a synergistic relationship with them. Jeff Smith has been on that board there for a while, and we have been quite involved with them in terms of Gray Matters and other educational programs. Several of our residents go over there to eat once in a while. We try to network with them as closely as possible. Deer Trail has had a lot of success working with the local community. I'm assuming you've all heard of Cowboys Against Cancer, and so we sort of embraced that entire concept. And so we started a program, we tied into Power the Purse. And over the last few years, this amazing team has raised over, I think it's over $200,000 for charity in Rock Springs. And that money has gone to everything from paying for hotel, to paying for cancer treatment, to paying for helping hospice meet their expenses. We have an Easter egg hunt. We have a haunted house that is a kind of a fun event because the high school helps us do it. We have an annual Thanksgiving pie giveaway where we thank everybody 62 plus for helping us have another good year in Rock Springs. And I think we were not able to do it this year. Last year, I think we gave over 800 pies away. We are a community of professionals. We have 80 professionals, 48 professionals employed. Our payroll there with load is approximately $2 million, and our operating budget is $2.7 million. We did get a grant from Wyoming Economic Development and Sweetwater County Economic Development to help us with our sewer and water infrastructure on this property. Jeff Smith, who's our executive director, is also a current Sweetwater County commissioner, so we're very proud of him. Next slide, please. Mountain Plaza, the buildings look almost identical. They're mirror images of the two, so each building is a mirror of each other, I guess. So somewhat confusing, but they are the same building. This building is located on the west side of Casper off of the Outer Drive near Casper Mountain. This building opened in September of 2012. And again, I mentioned that this community is very focused on training and working with the local community and credentialing. It's interesting, we have tied in with the North Dakota State, I think it is. Forgive me if that's wrong, if it's UND. But anyway, North Dakota students come down to have life enrichment training in a dementia environment and assisted living environment. And I think we've done that for 4 years. We have numerous people who come through this community for training. We work closely with Wyoming Dementia Cares, and we're very proud of some of the artwork that's come out of that synergy. We also do numerous care support groups all over the state. Again, payroll, significant payroll and operating dollars there. Kaneen has been with us for, I think, 4.5 years, and she was on the council. She was mayor for 4 years. So we like to support our local communities. Next slide, please. So this gives you an idea of some of the amazing activities that people put together in our community. We have residents out going on a sailboat. We brought in, because of social distancing, we have circle drives. So we've had everything from bands to car shows to animals to petting zoos to anything you can imagine to get our residents out in the fresh air. And I think that the picture with the horse was taken pre-COVID. The slide on the left with the numbers 364, that is our team. That is, we have fun. We make fun of ourselves, don't take life too seriously. And one of the things that I enjoy about that is that's actually a race. And they do that 2 or 3 times a year. It's very popular with the residents. And then the gentleman painting that's part of that making art in the memory care neighborhood. So something to do. Next slide, please. So in looking at one of the questions that we were asked by Todd and Derek was, why Laramie, why Boulder? Well, I think for me, the most important thing, why Laramie, I think there's just such an opportunity for us to tie into what's happening in your community. I have had numerous nephews and nieces go through, and great nephews go through the University of Wyoming. I think that we have a connection with WYGAC and numerous geriatric training programs. There is a synergy that I really like in your town. I think being closer to Denver, I'm excited about that because I'm used to driving 365 miles or 326 miles to my communities. I can easily drive up to Laramie in a day and back. The educational programs at LCCC are amazing. I think that you tie in well with that. And I think we had residents in Rock Springs who actually monitor programs at Western Wyoming. So I assume that will continue, especially since they're literally across the street. We tend to have a lot of our residents enjoy walking. And I think with the independent living residents being across from the recreation center, we will be able to tie in several programs there. And I'm excited about what we can do synergistically. The high school, we enjoy our high school and our middle school and our grade schools. Really, we tie in. Most of the choirs and anybody who wants to sing, perform, play the piano, or volunteer have been through our communities in Rock Springs and Casper. We will do the same thing here. Is there, I guess next slide, I'll just go to that one. And so this is the team. We were able to, this is in Cheyenne 2 weeks ago. We were able to meet in Cheyenne. This State Land Investment Board was kind enough to give us a grant. And so we were able to do some things. And so we met in Cheyenne to kind of celebrate that for 5 minutes. And I just really, this slide is just us. It's our accountant, it's Kanina and Jeff and myself. We are all about thriving in our community. And I absolutely love that you put that in your study. We think that people should own their homes, that we should be a part of something where life is worth living. And we work really hard. Most of our investors are Wyoming people. We do have a few out-of-staters, but we are very closely tied to Wyoming. And on behalf of the entire team, all 100 of us, we want to come to Laramie. And I'm excited about the opportunity, and we'll work hard to make this a success, something that you'll be proud of as a council. Are there any questions?
I saw Jessica.
Councilor Stalder, did you have your hand up?
I did, thank you. And Don, thank you for the presentation. I just had a question, and this is sort of outside the scope of land negotiation, but I think since we're giving a pretty significant discount, for economic development and housing, I just was wondering what the prices specifically of the independent living would be, ballpark.
Ballpark, I think we will be somewhere probably in the 2,500 range on average. Don't quote me, we have not finalized the pro forma, but that's kind of the idea. There will be support services, transportation, housekeeping. The pro forma I based upon a community that I worked with on a consulting basis, and they were in that general ballpark. There will be a meal component. So it's independent living is a little higher than than just a normal apartment, but there is definitely transportation, housekeeping. There is the life enrichment program, and they do have access to even a larger meal program or some services if they want that on a fee-for-service basis.
Awesome, thank you. I just, I'm not quite sure it really hits the needs in our housing study as presented. I mean, 2,500 is hitting a pretty high demographic, and I know that like Regency Retirement Village is not full, Grand Villa is not full. But overall, I think the project's great. I just think that maybe isn't really hitting those units, but I think it's fabulous, and I think you guys are really brave for going ahead during COVID. Assisted living is an extremely, extremely tough place to be right now.
Yeah, our community in Rock Springs we're running about 93 to 96% occupied. Our property in Casper was hit pretty hard with COVID, and we did lose a few people. Thank God we are back to being COVID free, and according to the state health department, we may see vaccine as soon as tomorrow or the next day. I do understand the pricing on the independent living, but there are a number of services that go into it, and it really does help support people that perhaps, I worked on a large one here in Colorado. The people who moved in to most of our market is 81 years old. And most of the people who moved into that community, it was called Concordia on the Lake, if you want to look it up. It was senior apartments, and their price range is actually quite a bit higher than that. But what it did was it was able to let people age in place and have just enough support services to get them to the doctor, get them to the grocery store. It provided those support services, and it kept them from entering into assisted living or memory care or nursing for a number of years. Some of the people moved in, and you guys are from Wyoming, so you're used to this. Some of the people moved in their late 90s, and I expect that same thing to happen.
Awesome, thank you. You don't have to sell me on it. I think it's an awesome concept, so thank you, and I hope all your staff and residents are okay.
Great, thank you.
Vice Mayor Gabriel.
Thank you, Mayor. Dawn, thank you for your presentation. When the mayor and I met with you a number of months ago, it's been quite a while now.
A lifetime ago.
In fact, you talked about the 800 pies in Rock Springs during Thanksgiving that were given away. So you brought that up tonight, so I do remember some of this presentation. But the one thing that you talked about when we met with you a number of months ago was location. Could you just talk a little bit more about why this location is so important to you?
Of course. First of all, I think what this site does is it locates us next to a lot of activity. It locates us next to we're not very far from the hospital. We're near shopping. We're near a number of services that I think our independent living residents will enjoy, which is the rec center. I'm excited that there are some sports venues in the high school. LCCC is literally across the street. I just think it kind of puts us into the growth pattern of Laramie. I think it gets us near a lot of things that people will enjoy being a part of. And then there's also the other part of it, which is I think that people that are coming to go to the high school or going to shopping, maybe they'll stop in and see mom, or maybe they'll volunteer at our community because we're right in the middle of everything. And that's really important to us. I kind of talk about Starbucks and mom, and we are very big supporters of getting people out to Starbucks once in a while, or my bringing Starbucks to the team, or having the high school come over and volunteer and help wrap presents, or helping, like with the Easter egg hunt. I see Jeff Smith on here, with the Easter egg hunt, with all the kids going through all of the different age groups that are involved. And it just puts us where we need to be. My opinion is this site is as good as the Rock Springs site, which I think is amazing, because the Rock Springs location put us at the heart of the senior and recreation center area. There's a growth area across the street from us where numerous new houses have been built. I'm proud to say we had something to do with this water and sewer that went there, because when we got our grant, we included sidewalks for the senior center in our grant, and we included enough water and sewer capacity. It was more sewer, but capacity for this huge vacant parcel of land across the street. And now I think there's probably, I'm going to guess, 125 beautiful homes across the way that have just been a godsend to our community. We get volunteers from there, we get residents from there, we get, we are just connected. And I think this location in Laramie will be the same way. There's new housing going to the southeast of us. I think that people will be going to and from the high school, and I think that's exciting. I think there's opportunities for instructors from LCCC to maybe do some things at our community. We will just tie in. So for me, the location is perfect. Did I answer your question?
You bet. I was so excited when we met a number of months ago about this project, and it's really exciting to see this come as far as it has. So the best of luck. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Well, on behalf of our team, thank you for considering this, and we are excited.
Mr. Gorsuch, we're going to ask the general public if they have any questions. Also, it's important to get their input. So anyone in the public that would have any questions for Mr. Gorsuch, you're welcome to ask or make comments at this time.
Honorable Mayor and Council, this is Dave Coffey Engineering and Surveying. I'm also a board member of the Laramie Chamber Business Alliance. And I want to personally thank Don for coming and giving his presentation to our community. I've had a chance to get to know Don a little bit, have helped through my consulting firm, help him get some information so that he could make an educated decision that Laramie is in fact a great place for his business. From an economic development standpoint, his project is checking all the boxes. He's bringing private funding to the table to build a project. He's creating new, good-paying jobs for the people in our community. He's giving young people an opportunity to get a foothold in his career. And I also kind of want to point out that the city needs to remember that this land that we're selling to Mr. Gorsuch's business was given to the city of Laramie. So we need to consider that this is the great economic development project, and the discount that we're giving him in the big scheme of things is fairly minimal. And I think it's well worth the investment in the community to get the benefits we're going to get out of this. We're going to have a great partner in the community. We're going to have an outstanding taxpayer. I couldn't be more thrilled about having such a business like this relocate to the Turner Tract. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Coffey. Anyone else in the public?
Like Jeff Smith has his hand up.
Mr. Smith, go ahead.
Just to have a little bit lighter note, I did want to point out, some people have asked when we show that picture of Rock Springs, they wonder if that really is a real picture because the American flag is hanging limp. I can verify that it is. I took the picture myself. It was that one day back in 2019 when the wind did not blow and we caught it on camera. And so I wanted to let you know that not doctored, that's a real picture of Rock Springs and a real picture of Deer Trail Assisted Living with a limp flag, just to let you know.
Well, Mr. Smith, let me just say this. The wind was still blowing, it's just changing direction. And you caught it right at that perfect moment.
Just at that moment, yes. It was just for that split second.
Someone said one time the wind quit blowing in Wyoming and everyone fell down, so.
That's
Anyone
great.
else in the public?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, go ahead.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, I just want to echo, I think, Dave's comments, but at a time when we're trying to figure out how we get good benefited, well-paying jobs, much less the services that a facility like this provides, 23 jobs that are benefited with a 4% matches, we're trying to get those jobs here in town. So I think that's something that should weigh into your decision. And then I just want to comment on, in economic development, we give a little to get a lot, and often we give a little to try to figure out what we're going to get. And Mr. Gorsuch and his team, when I've talked to Don a couple times on the phone, the numbers don't waver. It's 23 stable jobs. much less the services that this provides. And when we're out looking for, how do we deploy our capital, which might be land or dollars to preserve our workforce or increase our workforce, this is a point in our community where I think we can say, in 1 year, just the taxes on, the differential in taxes given as an incentive in year 1 pays for itself by year 2. And we start to increase that tax base, which is part of the LCBA charge, is to increase our tax base. And I can't tell you how many times we get people that say, how long can we never pay taxes? Or what are you going to give us, or and that's never been a part of the discussion from this outside of that initial purchase incentive. So I appreciate it. Would like to see 23 more jobs that have good benefits and matches with 401k and health benefits would be great. So thank you, and that's all I've got.
Thank you, Mr. Enzi. Anyone else in the public? Okay, comments from the council. Councilor Doherty.
Yeah, I seem to recall that those names, the Deer Trail and the other assisted living site, may have been working with Climb, Wyoming to help give CNAs jobs. And is that correct? Yeah, thank you.
It is correct. It is correct. I don't know, Councilman, if we have anyone right now that is on Climb, Wyoming, but when we started, we definitely worked with that. Jeff's saying, yes, we do. So yes, we try to give people opportunities.
Thank you.
Anyone else on council? All right, I'd like to thank Encore Partners for their presentation. We'll do the vote now on this proposal. City Clerk.
McKinney. No. O'Doherty.
Yes.
Schuster.
Yes.
Harrington.
Yes.
Pierce.
No.
Stalder.
Yes.
Weaver.
Yes.
Gabriel.
Yes.
Shumway.
Yes.
That's 7 yeses and 2 noes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. This item has passed, and now we'll go on to the next item, which is item number 16. Councilor Weaver.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that City Council approve Resolution 2020-74, supporting the acceptance of a donation of $100,000 from the Friends of the Laramie Skate Park, and authorize the development and construction of Phase 3 additions to the Labonte Skate Park, and authorize the mayor and clerk to sign.
Second.
Who did the second come from?
Mr. Mayor, that was me,
Councilor
Councilor Harrington.
Okay, so motion's been made, it's been seconded. Assistant City Manager Todd Feaser.
Honorable Mayor, City Council, thank you for the introduction. I'm actually going to turn this presentation over to a gentleman that I get to work with pretty regularly, and I hope you guys enjoy him as much as I do. But Scott Hunter, our Parks Manager, is well-versed in this subject and will lead you through the presentation. With that being said, Scott, go ahead.
Honorable Mayor and council members, I'm ready whenever the presentation is up, if we have a presentation.
Scott, we don't have a presentation.
Scott, I don't think they have anything. Can you wait?
Okay, well then, I guess this is a free-for-all here. So the Friends of the Skate Park approached the city of Laramie many years ago through a council meeting requesting a skate park be built in one of our parks. Josh Cafford is here with us as well tonight. That group has been pretty dedicated to maintain and continue to improve the skate park over the years. They've added a full pipe, they've added a lot of smaller items for increased usage. The fence came down. They also allowed some bike use in that park. Currently, for phase 3, they have raised $100,000, including 2 ACRB grants in the amount of $25,000 apiece and multiple in-kind donations through other venues. This particular project would expand the skate park a little to the north and to the west. It would also give an exit point to the current pipe. It would also update some of the features to kind of bring it to more of a higher skill level. This would be the final, hopefully the final phase of this particular build. And with that, if Josh is here, I would like him to talk about it a little bit because it's kind of near and dear to his heart.
It is. It's also near and dear to my house. I thank you all for for seeing me. Basically, this has been a long process of I think we've been 7 years since I was first contacted by Keith Wardlaw. And we started a relationship and worked with Paul and then Todd to expand and improve the skate park. We're really excited. It is a $200,000 expansion. It includes about $180,000 in concrete work, I guess, skate park construction, and then we have $20,000 set aside for upgrading and fixing the lights, adding some lights to cover this new area. I'm excited about it, but I would love to take questions if you guys have any.
Okay, any questions for Mr. Hunter or for
Josh?
Josh, anyone? Councilor Weaver.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Josh, good to see you. Again, I'm taken aback by how time flies and how long some of the discussions around this project have been going on. But my question is a quick one. Is this phase of the skate park going to still be based largely on the design work that the skate park designer that presented to the parks board several years ago in place? Is that what you guys are using for this, that design that was presented?
The final design, so the RFQ, and Scott, correct me if I'm wrong, the RFQ will go out as a design build. So the picture that we present the park, unless we go that design builder who also added the full pipe, it will look at considerably different, just depending on what they want to do. But the layout of the land and the specific, or so I should say, the land usage will remain the same. The elements and specific elements will change. In that design was made before we added the full pipe. So now there is a more advanced area that will actually connect in that where the full pipe isn't in the original plan, because we didn't know we were going to get it. We'll essentially take one of the lobes of that pool and connect it to the full pipe. But generally, we're pretty set on the design and the features that the way that goes in. So to answer your question, not a ton of money of this is going to go into paying someone to do more design changes, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I wasn't concerned about that necessarily. I was just wondering if it was going to largely look the same. And I think probably due to some of the space availability, there's only so many things that can change. But I appreciate that answer. Thank you.
Vice Mayor Gabriel.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to commend Scott and Josh for their presentation last week to the Parks and Rec Board. Lots of excitement there for this $200,000 project. This is going to add a lot to the skate park at Labonte, especially for those individuals that really needed to expand and have some big challenges. I know this has been a long time coming, but this is going to be a big addition to Labonte. And thank you for your great work on this project. Thank you.
Honorable Mayor and council members, I'd like to also point out that this part of Labonte Park has been identified for SPT improvements as well, with the added light features that Josh is talking about to kind of make it more visible during the earlier darkness and the later darkness. We're also looking at potentially reworking the restrooms in that location and the shelter as well. We see a lot of use with a little ball field right there, Optimus Ball Field. Labonte Park is kind of one of our second most used parks. You don't hear about it much, but I cannot find a time, even the other day after it snowed, I saw people out there moving snow on the skate park and skating. And so people are using this particular location, and I think the footprint will remain the same. The design will be determined, I guess, after the RFQ has been released. With that, I'll take any questions as well.
Thank you, Scott. Councilor Harrington?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I don't know who's going to have an answer to this, but I'm curious what the timeline will be for completion of this project if approved.
Josh, I'll take this. Honorable Mayor and council members, if everything works out and Josh releases the money to the city of Laramie, we will start looking at the RFQ build here towards the end of January, beginning of February. Depending on what the season looks like for contractors, builds, and what we can get our hands on, I'm hoping, within hope, that we'll start looking at a build this spring or summer, the latest possibly fall. But it's all going to tie to what's going on with COVID, what's going on with the contractors, and what's going on with us, with the city of Laramie. Hopefully that answers your question.
One note on there too. I know many builders, and I'm very hopeful that I know several builders who may win this award will have availability in the next summer.
Councilor Harrington, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. And I think Josh might have just answered my question, but I was curious if this was the sort of construction that can be done, if we should expect local bids for this, or if this is something that is more specialized.
Josh, you want to take that?
Sure. This is, for what we're building, is very specialized. There's not really any two ways about it. It's, obviously we've done some building out there on our own and with a lot of help from professional builders, either coming in and helping us when we pour or stuff like that. But the finish is very crucial, especially like Scott said, as we were shoveling. It's very crucial to get that right finish and to go with a professional skate park builder.
Honorable Mayor, if I can add to that, I think some of the things that are important to realize that stay local is the concrete supply is local, which is a major portion of this. The steel supply is local, the rebar. There's miles and miles of rebar that will go into this addition, and that will be purchased local. So there is still local impact as that purchase is made.
Thank you, Todd.
Other questions from council?
Honorable Mayor.
Yes, go ahead, Councilor Doherty.
Does this become a tourist destination because other people that are courageous like you all like to try out different areas, or is it mostly just local use?
Josh, I'll take this first part, and then if you want to chime in, you may. Honorable Mayor and council through you. I have noticed that it has become a destination. Number one, with this is the first full pipe that I know about. I have heard a lot of people from Colorado, Utah, Nebraska come here just to skate this park. I'm not necessarily sure what the hierarchy is of skate parks, I guess, but as new builds arise, I think the skate park community has a tendency to try those builds out. Like Josh was saying earlier, a lot of the skate park builders roam around the country and build skate parks, and they actually have a following. And sometimes that following will come and try out their new build. And from my perspective, I believe with this new addition, we will start to see some new people come in to try out the skate park. Whether they stay here for long term or if they're just here and gone is anybody's guess. With that, I'll leave the rest of that for Josh.
To answer your question, yes, of course. There are definitely lots of people, myself included, who have skated. I've personally have gone to over 50 skate parks in all the states. And this will certainly increase our pull. And that's always been something that we kind of designed for, is to try and pull the people who are driving by. There are professional skateboarders that drive by on I-80 and don't stop and skate at our park and don't inspire our kids. And, we want them to come and inspire them to come and inspire us. And that's really what it's about. It's about giving kids accessible place to enjoy something and generate their passions and their ability to fail and try again, but also to hopefully inspire them to work through their issues.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Do we have any questions from the public or comments from the public? Comments from the council before we vote? Councilor Stalder?
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to say I think this is so cool. And Josh, what you said about giving kids a place to fail, I take my son to the skate park, and it's a just great culture there. So awesome job, you guys.
Thank you.
Let's go ahead and vote.
Harrington,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Stalder,
Yes.
McKinney,
Yes.
O'Doherty,
Yes.
Pierce,
Yes.
Schuster,
Yes.
Gabriel,
Yes.
Shumway.
Yes.
That's 9 yeses and 0 nos, Your Honor.
All right. We have accepted the donation from Friends of Laramie Skate Park and look forward to the new addition to the Laramie Labonte Skate Park. The next item is item number 17, Councilor Stalder.
Okay, I move that the City Council approve Resolution 2020-75, supporting the submission of a grant application to the Wyoming Department of State Parks and Cultural Resources for a 2021 Land and Water Conservation Fund grant in an amount not to exceed $108,720 to replace the Washington Park play structure and authorize the mayor and clerk to sign.
Second.
Second is from Councilor Harrington.
That's right.
Okay. The Assistant City Manager, Todd Fieser.
Honorable Mayor, City Council, again, I'm going to be turning this over to Scott Hunter, but before I do that, I just say it's a real pleasure to be the final resolution considered by this council for the 2020 season. So I'll turn that over to Scott Hunter.
Honorable Mayor and council members, the city of Laramie, I do believe, has 13 playgrounds in the systems currently. We've been identifying needs over the years. We currently have 3 certified playground safety inspectors on staff. We take our safety issues very seriously. Washington Park is the oldest playground in service right now. The other playground that was the oldest was LaPrelle, and we just changed that out last year. And if you've ever been by LaPrelle recently, it's become a very popular destination. It's a new playground. It's got the new synthetic turf on it. I think that's a draw. Washington Park is our flagship park. It's really hard inspecting that park or doing any kind of maintenance to the playground because there's always in use. As a maintenance guy, when you're out there trying to do the maintenance, you try not to want to affect any of the play going on. Right now, Washington Park is probably our largest footprint of a park for playgrounds as well. Back in 1994, when they built this particular playground, they added I think it's about a 25-foot concrete ramp that goes up into this playground. So whatever design for the future is going to have to take that into account. Currently also, the engineered wood fiber that is in this playground has been refreshed at least 3 times to my knowledge. The subsurface is to the point now to where we're going to have to pull out all of the engineered wood fiber and replace it with something. Since Todd Fieser has graced us with his presence in the city of Laramie, we have discussed many times about using other surfacing because he came from Cheyenne and they've used Port in Place that uses this synthetic. That's going to be kind of a major price point. But with that being said, the synthetic turfs and the Port in Place makes those areas way more accessible to those people with mobility issues. When it comes to engineered wood fiber, we have to have staff there at least once a week to rake everything out in the high use areas, the entry zones, the exit zones. If you've ever been there, you've obviously seen those areas that have been high use because that engineered wood fiber moves. The wind moves it. We also get a lot of sticks and pine cones into this particular area, which makes it difficult because if you read any of the standards, you're not supposed to have anything in that engineered wood fiber to make it unsafe. Engineered wood fiber is about 12 inches right there, which basically is the best for the critical fall height for that particular playground. This particular playground replacement is kind of near and dear to my heart because I was actually on staff my very first summer when we built this playground. It seems like a lifetime ago. My daughter has been born, been through elementary school, been through middle school, been through high school, and is now living with her boyfriend in South Carolina in this time frame. So playgrounds, it's time for this particular playground to be updated. Regardless of what it looks like down the path, I think it is in that point where the CPSIs have recommended within the 2 years. We've replaced at least one second-tier platform due to structural damage. A lot of the handholds going up to the ADA ramp are becoming loose, getting warbled out. It's just from years of use. The toe plates on the actual ramp itself, same thing. It's just use, starting to wear out. The little, what do you call it, that chain climber, the kids have figured out a way to unhook all the handles on that because they look like little sticks of dynamite. It's just another feature of that particular playground that makes them go there. I also know at least 3 daycares who use this particular park, and multiple people use this park as a destination park. So we're going out for a land and water conservation to hopefully offset some of the pricing. I'm also eyeballing some ACRB grant money to hopefully offset some of the pricing for this as well. But ultimately, it comes down to the safety of this playground. And at some point, we're going to have to look at replacing a large playground. So with that, I will take any questions or concerns about this.
Councilor Harrington.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Scott, will this replace, it will drop on where the playground is now? It won't take up any other footprint?
Honorable Mayor, through you. Currently, we have 3 footprints in this particular site: the tot lot, the little tornado slide, and the main playground. Mm-hmm. So the only footprint we are looking at currently is the main playground. Both the tornado slide and the tot lot are relatively newer. Some of the maintenance items we see there are minimal. So it's going to be basically the main playground.
Great. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
questions or comments from the public? All right, final comments from the council? Is that a hand up? Okay. Let's have a vote on this item.
Schuster,
Yes.
Pierce,
Yes.
O'Doherty,
Yes.
McKinney,
Yes.
Harrington,
Yes.
Stalder,
Yes.
Weaver,
Councilor Weaver?
Yes.
Gabriel,
Yes.
Shumway.
Yes.
That's 9 yeses and 0 nos, Your Honor.
All right, that item passes. The next item is now public comments. We welcome anyone that would like to speak during this public comment period on anything that they wish to. You'd have 3 minutes. Okay, seeing none, we'll close this public comment period. And I'd ask the council at this time if there's any topics that they would like to introduce for us for future council work sessions. Seeing none, I'll ask Councilor Pierce to take us to item number 20.
Thank you, Mayor. I move that we adjourn to executive session regarding litigation. It's Wyoming Statute 14-4-405, lowercase a, Roman numeral 3.
Second.
Second.
Been moved and seconded by Vice Mayor Gabriel. All in favor of adjournment to executive session indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we're adjourned. We're going to take 5